Derek, are you gonna come watch?
Because
Come watch, man.
he gets upset. He wants you to watch.
What? Can you do it here?
You are today. All right, go, Costa.
You start. I hate starting it.
Well, then you always rip on me for not fucking starting.
I don't know. You're good at the start.
All right. Welcome everyone back to episode 5 of Bazooka Strength, powered by Tempus
Performance. What?
Building hurting.
Oh, building hurting bonds.
That's your part always.
Okay.
That's always your part. All right, let's do it again. Welcome everyone, episode 5, Bazooka Strength, powered by Tempus Performance.
Building hurting bombs. They're just gonna leave the other one in anyways.
So I'm a little sick today, Costa. So I need you. There's been requests for you to talk more. So I think today's the day you're gonna talk more.
Oh man, I'm a little cranky today.
You are. He's on edge today. He's coming in. He's all cranky.
I came in hot. Derek won't come and watch.
I know you're off today, so hopefully this episode comes out well.
It'll be fine.
What'd you do last night?
I just chilled.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Nice. Things
See,
are,
that's nice.
No, you're going. Let's tell them we're on a hiatus for a couple of weeks. Well, maybe, possibly.
Possible hiatus. Costa has his brother's wedding next week.
Yeah.
Tuesday, I leave for Copenhagen, Glory 40, which I'm pretty excited about. Some good scraps.
Tune in, Fight Pass, UFC Fight Pass, and then ESPN.
ESPN, I believe it's on 3, and then it goes tape delayed at ESPN 2, which I'm pretty excited about. Main event, we have number 3 between Jason Willness and Simon Marcus, which I'm pumped for.
Big up Simon Marcus.
Yeah, another Canadian dude. Another great addition to Team Bazooka. We have Matt Embry, and I'm helping him get stronger and working on some stuff together. So we got a good collab going. So I'm excited for him to have his next glory fight. Team Bazooka competed yesterday.
Yeah, how did they do?
It was nice. We went 3-0. It was okay. It was an amateur circuit in Buffalo. They did okay. I was more upset that they didn't listen. I think that's the one big thing. All these athletes go in and they just don't listen to their corners, and I get very upset when people don't listen.
Yeah, I remember that, Joe, when I used to corner you and sometimes you didn't listen.
Well, I was one of the best at listening. But the problem is, there's difference. When you're fighting higher level and the other guy hears jab, low kick, of course you can't throw it right away. You got to set it up.
I know,
but when it comes to amateur fights, these guys don't listen enough. And I think that's the biggest thing we got, is our listening skills need to be better.
Okay. It's lessons by Bazooka Joe today. Listen to your corner.
That's
Especially if your corner is Bazooka Joe.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm calling for something, I expect it within a quick time.
Yeah.
Quick turnover.
Let's talk about some, and then after that, a couple of weeks, I'm in Florida with some of my guys working.
You have baseball camps?
Yeah. And then, but we're going to try and do Skype shows. We're going to see if that works. Maybe we'll have an episode. If it doesn't work, it is what it is.
But I think before we start, last week we had a t-shirt giveaway.
We did.
We had a t-shirt giveaway, and it was your job to pick a winner.
Yeah. So this came down to a lot of awesome comments. You know, I was
about your biceps.
Yeah, those are okay, but you know, people aren't serious, so it's fine.
But how do you know they're not serious?
Because I saw myself. I wasn't happy with my shape right now, but it's okay.
Fair.
Anyways, so there's some good comments though. I like going back and forth with you guys. I love hearing kind of your theories on what works for you, and your answering your questions. One dude is just like, I don't weightlift, but it doesn't work. I'm like, okay, so if you've never tried it, how do you know if it doesn't work? I like going with the guys who try different things and talking, but yeah, you haven't tried it. Like,
don't knock it.
Don't knock it. Just go and try it. Just the old school, oh, you should be concentrating on your MMA or your kickboxing. Yeah, but you should also be, if you want to get to that next level, you've got to make sure you're also strong, because you put 2 guys of equal skill level together, or 2 girls equal skill level together, the stronger, more explosive, and more conditioned athlete's going to win every time. I
mean, especially when you get to the higher level, those little difference make a big thing, like your nutrition, your rest. The
highest levels are like less than 1% difference. You look at Olympic 100-meter running with Usain Bolt. Greatest of all, well, he's just so far ahead of everybody else, but he wins by point something of a second. And that shows you that the difference is just minute. So you want every single advantage possible. And if you can get stronger, you can get more explosive, your nutrition program's better, then why aren't you doing it?
I even think a big part of it too is people need to start seeing sports psychologists, because I think the mental game is trained in a lot of athletes.
Yeah. Mental game's huge. I mean, that's mental toughness. is a big thing, but that's another. I'm not a sports psychologist. I don't know. I might need one, but
maybe not a sports
yeah,
psychologist. You need
regular psychologist.
many different types.
Yeah.
What sports psychologist?
But anyways, oh yeah, T-shirt giveaway. We're ranting again.
I'm ranting, or you're ranting?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
So one guy. I want to give it one guy because he listens to the show with a pen and paper. It's pretty hardcore. I just imagine him just sitting there, pen and paper, taking notes. But Dave's here. Hey, Dave.
How many times do you think he writes, "It's nice"?
I hope a lot. But then he was also upset. He's like, guys, there's no structure. It's just nonsense. I'm like, yeah, of course it's nonsense.
That's the whole point?
Yeah.
So you like that? So he gets a T-shirt?
No.
Oh.
I just wanted to talk about his comment.
Oh, I thought he was going to get it. When I asked you if you had a winner, I thought he was the winner.
I originally had it with him, but like he just doesn't like the show, so why would I give him a T-shirt?
Because maybe he'll like it now after we give him a free T-shirt.
You should like it because it's nonsense. But anyways, no. What we give you is, we say it all the time. We give you a little bit of a taste of some information that you'll need. But if you're serious about training, if you're serious about a program, your nutrition, guys, I offer online training. It's not cheap, and I'm not going to give you a deal, but you get what you pay for. TempusPerformance.com. Check it out, or email me at Costa@TempusPerformance.com. And if you're an athlete looking to prep and you want to do it online, no problem. If you're just looking to transform your body, we can do that too. There's my commercial. That's my plug for today. But anyways, this guy, I'm going to give it to this guy, Tristan Nolan, Joe. You know why?
Tristan Nolan, I like it. Why?
Because he wrote out the sample program and I didn't have to in the comments.
He wrote it out?
Yeah, it was nice.
Oh, you forgot to?
I just didn't want to. I was lazy.
And so he wrote it out?
Yeah, so Tristan, message the Bazooka Kickboxing Facebook page. And
is that how it works? Through Facebook's probably the best way?
Yeah, because
I don't know how it works.
Yeah, because it's the easiest, I guess. And then, if you haven't liked the Bazooka Kickboxing or Tempus Performance Facebook page, go and.
So Tristan,
message. We'll hook you up with a shirt, and it'll be nice.
It'll be very nice.
Yeah. So, anyways, on to some content.
What did you want to go with today?
Energy systems.
Okay. I know. I was just asking because I know you're really excited about this.
I'm fired up about it, and it might be a little bit of a letdown. Okay. Everyone's been asking how to do conditioning, why running isn't the best for combat sports. So we're going to get into a little bit. There's 3 energy systems that your body uses when you're training, okay? There's the ATP-CP system, there's the anaerobic or glycotic system, and there's the aerobic system. What this means
explain each. That's the key.
I'm not going to go too in-depth. I'm just going to tell you what you need to know. If you want them in-depth, there's a lot of information out there.
Oh, yeah.
It could be like a 3-hour show.
I know.
So ATP-CP is the energy system used when your work is at 100% for less than 10 seconds. So if you go all out for less than 10 seconds, you're using your ATP-CP
So let's give an example of an
100-meter
athlete.
sprints. Perfect.
High jumper.
High jumper, yeah.
Or any explosive movement within the sport as well, right?
Yeah, I'm building slowly to that.
Okay.
The anaerobic system is anything less than 2 minutes. That uses your glucose in your system as
to create
energy.
energy.
To create energy, yep. And then the aerobic system is anything longer than that. It uses oxygen to create energy, and it's less efficient, but you can go on that forever. As long as you're breathing, you can use your energy system. So marathon runners would be a great example of that. So now we go to sports. People are like, well, let's take an MMA fight, because people like MMA. People like kickboxing too, but MMA's a bit bigger. So people are like, oh, your MMA match is could be 15 minutes, right?
Yeah, amateurs, 3 threes usually.
Yeah, so it's the aerobic system, right?
Yep.
Not so much. You break it down. You're standing against each other, and then you come in, throw a couple punches. You come in, move for a takedown, and you stop. So those are quick movements, quick explosive movements.
With a rest period, right?
Yeah, that take a few seconds, and then you're stopped, and then you're supposed to recover again, okay? All a few seconds apiece. So if you're using if you have a good ATP-CP system, you're gonna come in more explosive, you're gonna be able to recover that quickly and be able to repeat that every time.
That same amount of power that you've produced.
So your next one's not gonna be weak because you're not fully recovered. So you wanna train that.
So what's the average recovery time?
Depends on how in shape you are, yeah. So usually when you start, you want a couple of minutes, but obviously you want to repeat it a lot in the ring. So something really good for that is what Joe does is is he kicks the bag for rounds. So when you're kicking the bag, you're not always going. You're doing a combo. You're sitting back, recovering a little bit, going again, but you're going hard. So you really feel that. Another thing is push sleds are amazing. You do a push sled run for 5, 6, less than 10 seconds.
So that would be more your ATP, CP over your anaerobic sled pulls, depending on.
Yeah, for sled pushes. You are using aerobic in a match.
They all work together, right?
They all work together,
at
but
the same
have to train
time.
the system that dominates.
And that's a good point.
MMA, the ATP, CP, and to a lesser extent the anaerobic all dominate over the aerobic system. So I'm not saying don't run at all. Maybe do a little bit of running if you feel like you need some cardio or whatever. But train that system. So sprinting is good. Again, I'm not going to give you a real sample program here because that is individualized based on a fitness assessment that your coach will give you. But that's what you should predominantly be training for MMA. So sled pushes, sprints, they're all great to work that ATP.
And I mean, a sprint within a certain amount of time. You don't need to be running a full 400 meter.
Oh, then it's a jog.
That's more of, it turns into more of an anaerobic at that point.
Yeah.
If you're able to maintain that.
Yeah, it could be, anaerobic. Some people it's an aerobic. It takes a long time to 400.
True.
But you know what, those sprints, recover, go again. I mean, start up with longer rest periods and then shorten them up as you recover. A good way to see how you're recovering is heart rate monitoring. There's also, lactate tests, but those are a little more advanced.
Yeah, that's I did that in university where we did some exercise. They would prick our finger, and we would
blood levels to see how they recovered. That's some hardcore stuff. But if you're at the highest level, you need it, and that's how you can truly test how your system's recovering. So that's the 3 systems and why we don't. So we'll get more into now.
So why we don't run. And if those who look at my Instagram, I put this hashtag and people think it's crazy because they follow this old school system. I put more bag, less running. And I'm going to start why. Costa will get more into the science, but one of the reasons why I put that is the average combat athlete is having to work a full-time job still. It's tough. You're having to work a job and you're having to work. Unless you're Conor McGregor. Who we're still trying to get a fight from.
You're still trying, Conor.
You're trying.
Come on.
But the thing is, if you have limited time, why would I waste 2 hours running that system and doing my aerobic system when I can hit the bag and do 3-4 rounds of that ATP, CP, anaerobic and build that system? My question goes to you, and I heard this doing some research a few years back. The aerobic system helps clear lactic acid because you produce enzymes.
Yeah, for sure. There's no harm in doing some running, but you have a certain amount of time. And when we were working with you for your fights, we didn't have a half an hour to send you on a jog, and that really wasn't gonna do that much for you. I'd rather put you on a sled and have you almost throw up because it's kind of funny. But how did that work for you? Just training ATP CP system. Did you accomplish anything, Joel?
I did.
You won a title.
I did.
Yeah,
just a little one.
That was nice.
But the thing is, with the running too, it's like we always talk about risk versus reward. All that running on the pavement can't be good for your joints.
No, it's
right?
If you run on the pavement, if you like running. If it's this thing that you enjoy, go run. This is what I try to tell people, and you have said it a million times in the series. Do what works for you. Some people need to do these runs because maybe it's a placebo to them. Yeah. And maybe to them, running that 30 minutes, running that 10K in the morning, it helps their mental game too.
It helps their mental game, but based on science, it sounds ridiculous to run 10K at a steady pace when your fight is 6 minutes, 9 minutes of ATP anaerobic system.
Brief burst, stop. Brief burst. Boxers, there is value in a boxer.
I agree.
They go 14 rounds, 10, 14 rounds. So that's longer.
14? You an old school boxer? It's 12.
I don't know. Whatever.
That's like old school boxing.
It's
days.
Early. Yeah. That'd be sick. The 14 rounds. No, but then go 14 rounds, then your aerobic system's taken over, especially in those later rounds. So definitely for boxers.
But there can be a change of pace too. You don't have to constantly run. You can mix.
But so anybody who's like, in Thailand we run for 20 miles, go keep running. If it works for you, I don't care.
Yeah.
Why are you arguing with me? Do what
you want. If it helps you lose weight and you feel better about it, great.
Better your fight, go nuts.
But
I don't train my guys
Bazooka strength, Tempus Performance is all based on science, explosive power and science.
So and quick recovery.
Yeah. And I mean, and the big problem too is if you're constantly, this is another thing that people make a mistake of, if we're constantly working that ATP and the anaerobic system, it takes a big toll on your nervous system. So I remember we used to.
Well, Buddy, who was commenting, is just like, I don't do weightlifting because it fries my nervous system, and then he's like, I don't do 1 rep max. I'm like, well, you know, there's more to weightlifting than 1 rep max.
But my point is.
I had no point in that. I just wanted to throw.
You just wanted to throw it in. Yeah. I didn't even know. You totally just made me forget what I was going to say. Oh, but what we used to do is we used to do 2 hard kickboxing days, which was Mondays and Tuesdays, and Wednesday we would rest one system and work on another system. So Monday, Tuesday was very hard ATP, PC, and anaerobic based on the hard kickboxing. And then Wednesday, we would give that system a break and we'd work our strength training.
You know what pisses me off?
What's that?
Every time I hear they're like, oh.
Are you gonna answer my question though, or are you just gonna go off and ignore it again?
I didn't even know there was a question, but I didn't hear the question. But anyways, I just thought about it.
I just wanted you to explain why we took a break and we did strength.
You got to recover, so you don't want to use CNS recovery. But here's,
exactly. I was
going to get into that a little bit around
here we
about.
Go.
Because every time they're like, oh, a fighter should not be 100%. Did we cover this in a previous video? But if we haven't, this is important.
I know, quickly rant on it. I know you've always
A fighter should not be 100%. Oh, they're all a little injury when they're going to their fight. Absolutely not. These guys overtrain way too much. I think about how the Matt Hughes camp used to. They spar hard 100% every day, and they all come in injured. You are always 100%, you peak for your fights because you have to properly lay out that training plan. Your nervous system, your CNS should be 100% developed. You should have good recovery. Your nutrition plan should be on point. If you feel like you're getting worn out in training, you back off a little bit, move it towards recovery. An athlete should be at their best when they're in the ring, when they're in the field. Sure, it's something like hockey where you have 80 games a year, you're going to get banged up. But if you're training for one fight,
2-3 times a year.
3 times a year, you got to know to peak at those fights. And if there's no excuse for you to be banged up into a fight, I mean, sure, accidents happen, and if you still got a fight, you have an injury. But if it's because of improperly planned training, get a new coach.
I think that's the biggest thing is because people are too. And again, I could be guilty of it. If I didn't have you and if I didn't have Costa in my camp managing my whole system, it would be tough because when you're the athlete that's motivated, you have a big fight coming up, you don't really think about recovery. On your off days, psychologically, you really mess up your head because you're sitting at home recovering and you're thinking, I should be training, my conditioning's not well, because your mind plays tricks on you closer to fight time, thinking you're not prepared. Even though you've been training all year round, close to fight time, you never think you're prepared. Your mind starts playing tricks on you. So it was hard for me to take rest days, even though Costa was saying it, but the day after, I would be like, frig, thanks Costa, I needed that. My next day of training becomes even better now instead of continually draining my nervous system.
You know what else pisses me off? I'm just going on different things.
I like it.
So there's this one guy it's nice. There's this one guy who keeps commenting, Faraz tells guys not to lift weights. I love Faraz, amazing coach. He's coached GSP, he's coached TriStar is awesome. It's cool, whatever he does with his guys works for him. But John Chainberg was his strength coach for his guys. They all lifted weights.
GSP's an Olympic lifter.
Yeah, GSP does some awesome cutting edge stuff with weightlifting. So don't tell me Faraz doesn't tell his guys to lift weights because he's really big into it. And also, not related to Faraz, I hear a lot from sports coaches telling the guys telling what guys should be doing in the gym. Listen, I don't tell guys how to work their baseball program or how to throw better or how to hit better, or I don't go in and tell what strategies for the kickboxers to use or the MMA guys to use, because I leave the sport coaches to the sport. So don't try and tell about the strength and conditioning. We'll develop the athletes to work best for when you're coaching them. And then when everybody works together, then it'll be great. It's when you get these guys butting heads, when the sport coaches butt heads with the nutritionist or the strength coach. I mean, earlier on in my career when I was a young strength coach, I had a sport coach who shall remain nameless, who tried to shut me down because they tried to do old school training, and it's just like, buddy, just relax, stick to what you're good at. I have some results. Like, these guys are getting better. Like, why are you jealous? But anyways, I don't know,
just ranting.
I'm just
you good?
ranting,
That's
yeah.
all right. I'll let you have it.
And my other rant is people don't know where I'm looking at. I don't know. I'm always looking this way.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. I'm
just look all over.
off the thing. I try and make Derek laugh. Dave was here. He's gone now.
I just think what else strength training does, it takes a break from the actual kickboxing itself, because if you're kickboxing 6 days a week, yes, you love the sport, it's great, but it's nice to have that different day of training where you can actually take a break from the sport and still get better. And I used to always like that because, you know, I've been training martial arts since I'm 4 years old. I'll be 32 next week, which is May 3rd. Yeah. I'm hoping to see some birthday wishes.
Birthday presents.
Yeah, birthday presents too. I'm good with that.
I like things.
Yeah, it would be nice.
It'd be nice.
But yeah, I've been training martial arts since I was 4 years old. So when I do different things in my training, it's fun again. That's why when I started boxing, it's fun. I started implementing Taekwondo style kicking into my training. It's fun. Strength training has always been fun. So it takes you out of that constant same element, and it makes it fun again. I'm finding the same thing, like I said earlier in the episode. I train now Matt Embry, helping him get stronger, and he was that old school approach and that example of waking up, 10K run every morning. He still believes in running, but I'm slowly changing his mindset.
Imagine now with that extra.
Oh yeah, you should see him. He's deadlifting nice. His squats are coming good. We're adding some explosives. So everything we're talking about, I'm actually implementing with him, and you're going to see a huge difference when he fights. I think it's Madison Square Garden in July.
Another thing, when you have a camp, this one goes specifically to fighters, don't let your sport coach be the head of your camp. Don't let your strength coach be the head of your camp. Have someone independent who organizes the training. Like Faraz does for his guys, like Craig Jackson does for his guys.
Well, you did for me.
Yeah, what they do is it's kind of like a project manager. They lays out the training, it gets everybody to play nice. That way one section doesn't dominate over the other, and you don't get that butting heads, and you have kind of a proper training camp for yourself, and it just that's where
it
prevents you from having to deal with all the BS.
You can't do that, even though the athlete itself might be the most, the one who may be the most intellectual about understanding the whole thing. But once you're in that, you can't do both at the same time. I can't run a training session and think about what I have to do and coordinate everything.
You have a degree in exercise science. You're so you know your shit. Pardon my French, but it's just like you can't judge yourself. You have to have that outside view. So that's what really worked well for us. So I mean, for fighters out there who think they can run their own camp, probably could, but don't, because you're not going to get your best results. Get outside help.
But even when I was on the Rogan, I said the biggest thing, and I think the biggest problem in mixed martial arts, is way too many coaches. They have an MMA athlete is going to go box with a boxing coach, then he's going to have a kickboxing coach, then he's going to have a jiu-jitsu coach, then he's going to have a wrestling coach, then he's going to have a strength and conditioning coach. So right there, probably the average MMA guy is having 5 different coaches.
So you need someone to organize.
The boxing coach is telling you to stand sideways, the kickboxing guy is telling you to stand square, your wrestler's telling you to sit low, everyone's telling you something different, so information overload.
Yeah, but I mean, what do you think about... my big thing is work your strengths, hide your weaknesses. And just something random I heard on, because I mean, if you try and work your weaknesses, you're going to try and get excited, you're going to try and do that. An example with that would be the fights the other week where John Jones tried to wrestle with Daniel Cormier. Or not John Jones, what's his face? Anthony Johnson. Rumble. Yeah. I was thinking John Jones was in the crowd, but where he tried to wrestle with Cormier. Cormier is an Olympic wrestler.
Should we tell people? Oh,
John Jones is a beast on his feet. What, man?
I'm still mad at that.
You're still mad?
You owe me money. I put a parlay bet because we're watching the fights together, and I wanted to cash out, and I would have made some money. But Costa told me, he's like, no, keep it in.
We had 4 fights right, okay? We were as a 4-fight parlay. We had 4 fights right. The first 3 we won, and they were good. We were underdogs.
But if I would have cashed out, I would have made money.
Okay, now
basically you owe me some money.
No. False. Rumble broke his nose.
He owes me money.
No, Rumble broke his nose.
It would be nice if you gave me some money.
And then
it would be nice.
I'm very unlucky. I'm very unlucky when doing these things. So it's like, okay, we got it good. Rumble broke his nose, and then everyone's like, okay, what could be the most unlikely thing that happens to Cormier?
Rumble tries to take down Cormier.
Rumble basically gives up and retires. Like, this is the most cost thing that happens. It was just ridiculous. But anyways. No.
So we have about 4 minutes left. Let's end off energy systems.
I thought we ended it off.
Let's just finish it off. It was nice.
What else do I know about? Oh no, I want to talk about. I started sumo deadlifting again, Joe.
Okay,
I really like it. So I have back problems, like lower back issues. where I really have to be careful when I'm doing things like or regular deadlifting, squatting, but I like them because, you know, it's things I like to do, and I put my athletes on them, so I feel like I should do it myself. So I'm always trying to find safe ways to do it. Back into sumo deadlifting.
I only sumo deadlift.
Yeah, I mean, so for people with bad backs, and that was always one of the questions. Trap bar deadlift's amazing, like, but just to switch it up, I like the sumo deadlift, and it's good. My hammies are killing me today.
Conventional deadlifting is just hard on the back for me. It's the way around. Like, I mean,
you're
I could do it well, but I mean, I just feel better off
you
of
don't
a
like wearing
sumo.
deadlifting socks.
I know.
That's why.
And the thing is,
you're embarrassed to wear deadlifting socks, so you don't want to get your shins.
Deadlifting socks are ridiculous. I'm not going to be at the gym with these high socks. And the problem is, with all the kickboxing, with all the shin damage that I have all these bumps on my shins. So when I try to keep the bar close, I grind my shin.
So the bar goes out,
and I rip my shin and it bleeds every day.
Of course, your back's rounding. So, but you had a good deadlift.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So yeah, so my hamstrings. So I'm back in training. I was out for a while with a bad back, so I'm not in my best shape. But I'm back. For what? I'm not really training for anything.
For the series.
Yeah, for the series.
For you people.
To continue, yeah.
Just so your biceps can look good on the video.
Oh, here we go.
It would be nice.
Well, so
I think we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
I was hoping honestly, I'm a little disappointed that you'd rant a little bit more about energy systems. I think you were a little politically correct.
I wasn't politically correct. I told what you got to do. And here we go. We're gonna get people. Well, you know, I ran. Do what you want to do, guys. Like whatever. But
this is what we did.
And I have a pretty damn good track record of for the last 20 years. So it works for my guys. But it works for you.
So all of Team Bazooka's opponents, please run your 10K every morning.
Keep running.
Keep running every day. I think you should run 10 instead of 10K. Make it 20K
and don't listen
every
to your
morning. Don't listen to your corner, just like my guys did last night, and just.
You called them out so hard.
I was
Joe.
upset because I know in my heart, body, soul, I'm the best coach in the world. And I feel no matter what athlete, I can put my amateur guys against pro guys. If they listen to me, they would be successful, but they didn't.
Yeah, well, I'm not.
So that's why it's amateur and that's why it's great, but I train my guys professional style fighting, so I expect professional style results.
It's fair.
I have high expectations. If you want me to say you did great and pad your back,
when you,
that's huge.
Yeah, even with you, I wasn't the yes man. If you didn't do well, like you did have one loss, and we were like, it was tough. Like it was a hell of a fight, but it was just like, this is how we work, man. You know, we work to the next. We work to get better. It's not like, oh, you did great, you're a warrior, you got in there. Yeah. No, man, what can we do to get better for the next?
This is how it is, right away.
So you became better, and you became the champion.
If I even went to decision, I'd be pissed off.
Yeah, I went to decision. We're like, hey, you went to decision. That's not
Joe, you won 30-27. I was like, nah, should have knocked him out.
That's why I say when people post on Facebook, oh, I lost. Okay, man, you know, it's great that you got in there, but all these people are like, you're a real winner in our hearts. I thought you lost. This is a sport, you know?
You lost.
Yeah, go get better and improve yourself and go back
But
and
you
win.
came second place, Costa. That's amazing.
No, it's not. If you ain't first, you're last. Only at high level. If you're a kid and you're going to play, enjoy yourself, have a good time. But we're talking for high level.
We're talking combat
athletes.
sports.
Yeah, people want to be pros. You got to win. All right, 38 seconds.
So who is it? Tristan, Travis? Who was it?
Tristan Nolan. Travis. What is
Tristan Nolan. I don't know. I forgot his name. Oh, okay. You're the one who picked the winner.
All right.
Make sure you message us, buddy.
We'll see you in a couple of weeks, guys. Maybe sooner. Okay, bye.
Bye. Dave. Right. Not too much. What are you doing with all those heavy weights? Put those 2 pounds down.